Hello, everyone. My name is Carl. I'm a prompt engineer, and today I'd like to show you some prompt engineering in relation to business and specifically customer experience, and not just customer experience, but customer experience related disciplines such as marketing, product development, and the like. So, what I'd like to do in this session is be very ambitious and you do it all in ChatGPT. I'm going to show you some prompt engineering, first starting with PACE, which is an acronym for Patent Assisted Creative Exploration. We're going to use that prompt to review different features in different patent categories and then use that to ideate from to generate a new product. We're going to then define the business model of that product, a marketing campaign, and even an outline or an information architecture of a website. And then after this, I'm going to digress a little bit. Just recently, you might be aware that ChatGPT or OpenAI, sorry, have released GPTs. GPTs are a update to the OpenAI API and coming ChatGPT interface. GPTs will allow us to build virtual assistants. And this is an interesting departure from ChatGPT and how we've been using large language models. You can think of ChatGPT as a universal virtual assistant targeting all knowledge and not specific to any brand. But GPTs can target specific tasks and query files specific to your brand. So I'm going to explain to you the impacts for business moving forward with GPTs. Okay, so they're the preliminaries out the way. So to begin with, I'm going to, and what I'm doing, by the way, I've got my prompts all in a notepad right next to me, and I'm going to paste them in like this. This first prompt here is saying to ChatGPT, you are a patent creation innovation machine, and you accept these different commands. So these commands are select a patent class, features, which will summarize the features in that patent class, problems, which will extrapolate the problems that those features are solving for, and then innovate features to design a whole new product. So let's get started. Okay, great. So, yes, I understand what you would like to do. ChatGPT says, and the first thing we need to do is select a patent class. So I'll give it that command first. And now in the cooperative patent classification CPC system, there are over or close to 250,000 classes of patents. Within each of those classes are a number of patents that summarize for each patent multiple features. In essence, we're looking at millions upon millions of features. And what we're going to do is we're going to use those features to ideate with. So first of all, I'm going to drill down. I'm going to start with human necessities. And GPT is now telling me, okay, in this patent category, you can pick from these subcategories. I'm going to then drill down and pick A45 and or traveling articles. And we're drilling down into the subcategory of that, where I'm going to now pick purses, luggage, and hand-carried bags, or A45C. And finally, I'm going to pick suitcases, trunks and suitcases. Now, it's important to keep in mind as I do this that As of the recording of this session, ChatGPT is prone to making mistakes. You might have seen the disclaimer at the bottom here of your screen. It does hallucinate. So it's to say that this is no substitute for doing a proper patent search with the correct tools and engaging a patent attorney. Having said that, though, we're not actually going to be using this method for creating new patent. Rather, we're going to uh, look at the different features within a patent class. And oh, I apologize for the confusion. Um, this is a little disclaimer that OpenAI have put in the last couple of months. It's saying it can't identify the features, but I will say yes. Oh, and it's browsing for me. So we're going to the US Patent and Trademark Office. And there's an error. So the dangers of a live presentation. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to ask GPT to do this again for us, because this information does live within its training corpus. So I'm going to say, please. Spelling mistake. Okay, we'll try that again. So apologies for that. But prompt engineering is certainly not a science. Well, maybe a bit of science and a bit of art. And from time to time, you might need to go off the beaten track. Okay, so if I type in problems here. So what we're doing now is we're kind of like reverse engineering the problems that these features fix. And once we have these problems, we can then forward engineer new features. So what we're going to do now is type in innovate new features. And what's happening here is GPT is using the problems and features it's identified in this patent class as source information to ideate from. So this gives us very targeted and focused ideation based on real world data. So what we can do here is we can say select, let's say select, let's see here, let's select feature 4 and select feature 1, and let's select feature 7 and create a new product. I'm asking it to write a patent application. Again, I would suggest that you talk to a patent attorney to do this, of course. And here we are. So we've got smart case. A little bit of a time lapse there. And we'll just scroll to the top. So smart case is the name of our product. And this is the beginnings of the patent application that we're writing. The reason why we're doing this is because GPT now is elaborating out of all the different features and different use cases, the information you would find in a patent application. This gives it a really strong source of information to ideate from. What we're going to do now is that now we've designed our product, we're going to, we want to flesh out a business model. And this is part of our prompt engineering system. This is called strategy, design, and delivery. What we're doing here is we're first starting with the strategy. And this prompt here is please populate the categories of a business model canvas, which is a one-page summary of a business model. And here we go. So GPT is familiar with the business model canvas, by the way, and it's a great way for GPT to get a broad, far-reaching understanding of your business model, strategy, and environment. Okay, great. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to ask GPT to create a persona map for the professional customer segment. Include user goals, pain points, and attitudes, as well as other persona attributes. And here we go. So we've got demographics, psychographics, user goals, to remain productive and connected whilst traveling, to minimize travel-related stress and inconvenience, to maintain a professional image at all times. Keeping in mind that GPT not only is using what came before in this conversation as source input, but also it's drawing upon its exhaustively large, vast training set of information. Fantastic. And it's even given us a marketing message here. It's getting creative. That's the G in GPT, generative. Okay, so we can even elaborate further now. If we were doing some CX, traditional CX work, we might want to do like a journey map for a day in the life of a professional using a briefcase. And we can ask GPT to output that map in a table format. And that's what we're doing here. The table format is particularly useful for such artifacts in design as journey maps. You can see here what GPT is doing here is it's extrapolating out what persona, Adrian Smith in this case, will be doing in his day-to-day. But what we want to do is understand what, with our product smart case, is how we would recreate this journey map for a user of smart case. And this will really help GPT understand the what pain points are being remedied by the product, its applications of features and benefits to our specific target market. So this really helps us build more guts or more depth to our copywriting with all this contextual information that you're seeing here. Chat GPT now is going to have a cornucopia of information to draw upon to write marketing content for us. And before we do that, let's just say to Chat GPT, you are a marketing or campaign consultant. Please use appropriate theories and frameworks from consumer behavior and marketing to design a launch campaign for smart case targeting our professional customer segment. So we're going to give GPT a budget here of 100,000. We're going to ask it to focus on these specific channels of LinkedIn ads, AdWords, social posting, events, and Amazon. We give it a launch date as well. And again, we're asking to output to a table. All right, so we're doing budget allocations, which is great. And now our campaign calendar. Keeping in mind that whilst you're doing this, if you haven't yet used GPT in this way, if you're not happy with anything that GPT is outputting, you can always ask it to edit, and it will. So please delete this, add that. Okay, great. Okay, so now it's not enough to have a campaign plan. We need to execute, and the first thing to do that is to develop a tone of voice to write some copy. And we can use this to brief in a copywriter, for example, or we can use it to brief in GPT to write copy for us. Great. And this is targeting our professional segment. Now we have all of that, we can begin to write some. I've got some examples of the tone of voice as well. Fantastic. Okay, right. So we can now go ahead and we can start writing some copy. Let's say for 5 variations of a Google AdWords ad. Organize smartly, travel evolved, stay charged and organized. Again, we can work with this. We can ask more variations. We can give it creative direction. The targeting options here can be used to configure the backend of Google AdWords. ChatGPT is aware of the configuration options, certainly to its training date. And finally, we need a website. So let's design an information architecture to engage all audiences to sell the smart case. So this is outlining the menu or the information architecture of our website. And at this point, there's enough contextual information inside of the conversation. If we want to generate copy for any single one of these web pages, we can just ask GPT to generate it. And it's going to not just make up what goes in that copy, it's going to draw upon all the wealth of information from this conversation. Our business model, our persona, the pain points that we're remedying, the features, the benefits of the product, etc., and do it in a directed tone of voice. All right, so I'm going to. So what we saw there is an example of a way to reinvent CX from our back of office. It brings a newfound freedom to product development that we haven't had before, and also to marketing. And we can see how we can move seamlessly from strategy, defining our business model and designing our product, through to journey maps, and then developing our individual content assets. And that's a part of our prompting framework that we've developed at Dorothi AI. Okay, so moving on, let's start a new conversation, because something has just happened very recently, which is OpenAI has released GPTs. And what I've done here is I've gone to OpenAI's website and I've literally copy and pasted in their page on GPTs to summarize what GPTs are. So we're going to get a live summary from OpenAI's website. So we're creating, as you see here, custom versions of ChatGPT for various purposes. And what's happening here is GPT becomes customized with custom instructions, much like the instructions you saw previously in the previous part of this demonstration for investigating and generating features from patents. And also source documents specific to your brand. And these could be the products, tone of voice, etc. of your brand. But what we need to understand here is what is the pros and cons of deploying virtual assistants throughout your organization compared to what would have had to have been done before, which is some prompt engineering. What I mean by virtual assistants, to be clear, is that what the future holds for us now is for every worker inside your organization, we're able to have a virtual assistant and maybe multiple virtual assistants to help us in specific tasks, such as product development, campaign ideation, writing copy, writing books even. Whatever that use case is, we can now have a virtual assistant to help us. So this is quite a large departure from how we would interact with ChatGPT with prompt engineering, in that if we wanted to design a campaign, we wouldn't fire up a virtual assistant. We would need to do the prompt engineering first to get the results that we want. So, so what I'm curious about here, if we were to ask GPT to compare and contrast prompt engineering against GPTs, which is what I'm doing here in this prompt, let's see what it has to say. So we're comparing and contrasting virtual assistants or GPTs against traditional prompt engineering, as you'll see me do right here in this presentation. So what I would oh, here we go. You gotta have GPT. I'm using GPT-4, the paid version of ChatGPT, and as you can see here, it's elaborating and telling me how to roll out virtual assistants, which believe it or not was the next part of my presentation. But what I'd like to point out, if I just scroll back up here, is that using ChatGPT, there is a learning curve, and I've been consulting in the space now for quite a number of months. And prompt engineering, even though we've touted ChatGPT to be an incredible tool across so many different myriads of knowledge work production, there is a learning curve to do prompt engineering, and it's actually no small feat to get actual measurable commercial outcomes from using this technology. You need to have some skills in prompt engineering, and that's a learning curve. So that's certainly a uh, something that's hard to do. And what virtual assistants do is it creates ease of use. We don't have to worry about doing that prompt engineering. It's baked into the actual virtual assistant. The drawback there is development time, but once it's developed, you can roll these out to workers across your organization. And this gets into the what we do at Dorothi AI. We first identify use cases and then go about doing the prompt engineering to build out or configure generative AI apps such as ChatGPT for use by teams within your organization. So my name is Carl, and you can we'll see what ChatGPT says about me. Probably nothing. I'm not in this. Probably not in this training set. But that's my name. Please come and see me on LinkedIn. You'll know it's me in my tagline. It says I'm a prompt engineer. And thank you very much for your time.